Make sure all that's good to go. Should be live. All right, live on here. Sweet. Shrink that. Go to here. Go live. Live charting in TA. And now. Right. Audience control, go live. All right, I think we're good. Move this over here. All right, I think everything's up and running here. Good to go. Is this all good on this side? Nice. Okay. Everything is legit. Okay. I think everything's good to go. Did I crop that out? Oh, let me get this advertisement out the way here. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I'm a little late today. Usually I go at 6 p.m., but we're at 6:30 today. So a little late, so bear with me. But before we get into the charts and before we get into the technical analysis, want to see how's everyone's weekend? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Richard, welcome to the stream. Sunny vibes. Sunny vibes. Welcome back. How are y'all doing? How's everyone's weekend? I know it's Sunday. We're gonna get into the charts in a second. Just want to see how everyone's doing. See how everyone's weekend's been. Any fun things happen over the weekend? Sunny said, "Hey, what's up, Sunny? Hope everything's going well." Great. Okay. Great. Awesome. Awesome. It's a little rainy down here in Georgia, so it's not perfect by any means, but we're making it the best we possibly can. So I got the Bitcoin chart up here. Juicy Juice, what's up? What's up, Juicy Juice? Oh, I got it set up now. So if you're joining nice and sunny in California, oh, I'm jealous. I am jealous. I want to say it's like 50 degrees here in Georgia. It's 50 degrees and rainy, so not the best. But I did get the vertical and horizontal set up for TikTok. So you can kind of pick and choose whichever one you prefer. If you want more of a vertical format, if you want a horizontal format, I have both options now. Now that I've streamed on my computer for a few different days, it allows me to do both horizontal and vertical. Obviously, take your choice. But you can do either or now, which is super nice. So I'm happy about that. But let's get into some Bitcoin chart. I know sunny in Arizona with 75 degrees. Richard, I am jealous. I am jealous. My brother-in-law actually lives over in California, in Colorado, and he's been playing golf. And he was telling us today, he's like, yeah, it's like 70 degrees and I'm golfing. I'm like, man, I wish it was that weather so I could go out golfing. What's up, Nick? Happy Sunday, brother. Happy Sunday, High Speed. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I mean, the weekend's been pretty positive, I will say. Good solid weekend. What is that? Is that a heart? Christian Cowboy with a heart. Let's go. Let's go. I don't even know what that is, but that was cool. I appreciate that. I am looking forward to the weather being a little bit warmer, and so I can go out and golf again. But nonetheless, we'll get there eventually. So where do y'all want to start today? I mean, I'm happy to start with Bitcoin. I know that there's been a lot of requests. So I have on here, going through my notes right now, we have a lot of requests. Pepe, we can do Pepe. I got a lot of requests to get through, and I've been trying to knock them out one by one. So yeah, we can start with Pepe for sure. There's probably like 20 to 30 requests of tokens. So bear with me. I'm trying to get through them. Not get through them in the sense of like I want to just get through them, but there are quite a bit. So I'm trying to make sure that Solana and F. Yeah, we can do Solana and F. I did post a video of Solana earlier today. I want to say a few hours ago. So if you want to go check out that video first, feel free to, but we can jump back into the chart. I think I have everything saved, but in honor, is that a strawberry? Is that a strawberry? Or no, that's a rose. Thank you for the rose, Christian. Let's go to Pepe. Let's go to Pepe because I feel like that is wait, put the E there. Pepe USD. I think I have everything saved from last time, but as always, let's start with the monthly chart because I do have everything saved there from last time. Awesome. So we can kind of dive into this. So let me get everything into screen here. And again, with me, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Undo. Let me see. Is everything in here? Send a diamond. Hell yeah. Well, I don't know what a diamond is. I'm new to this. I'm new to TikTok Live, but hell yeah. Thank you for the diamond. I appreciate that. All right. Can y'all see that? So Patrick, like up the live. What's up, Patrick? What's going on? Patty Wedges in the chat. So Christian wanted to start with Pepe today. This was the chart we did from last Thursday, I think. I want to say it was last Thursday we covered this chart. Essentially, again, with Elliott Wave Theory, it's more geared. I want to preface this first before we get into the chart because the rules of Elliott Wave Theory and what it's typically geared towards is more indexes, like think S&P, even Bitcoin now because it has a lot of price action, but just think of more, there's more history to the chart, and that's really where you see the power of Elliott Wave Theory. Not to say that we can't use it for assets like this, but smaller market cap assets, things that don't have a lot of history and price action behind it and bring more volatility, we can still use Elliott Wave Theory, but it's on a shorter time frame as opposed to a longer time frame because we don't have that much price action to go off of. Like Pepe, for example, on this chart, we only have price action back to April of 2023, so we don't have like years and years worth of price action. Nonetheless, we could still do it. So from a Pepe standpoint, these are monthly candles. I'm still trying to figure out how to get price in the screen here. But again, I do have TikTok Live set up on both vertical and horizontal. So I believe you have the ability to like hit the the camera so you can see my whole screen. But if not, no worries. I'll still make sure everything's inside of the vertical format. So with Pepe right now, from what we have, I have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So right now we have a 5-leg move, which is nice. We do have a 5-leg move. And for me, this is a larger, let me get this out of the way. This is the larger wave 1. From the April 2023 lows up until, was that December 2024? This is a larger wave 1. And with inside of a larger wave 1, you do have a 5-wave move. Boom. That's first on our to-do list. We have to identify a 5-wave impulsive move. We've done that. Now for me with Pepe, we also have a 3-wave move developing and potential bottom. We have an A, a B, and a C wave. For me, a lot of the altcoins and Bitcoin, based on the charts on a smaller time frame, they do look like they're going to bottom soon. I think that most altcoins are in a very similar spot, similar to Bitcoin. If y'all have been following me for a while, you know my Bitcoin theory, and it essentially is one more leg lower. We have this wave 4 bounce that we're still waiting on. I'll dive into the Bitcoin chart in a second so you can see what I'm seeing. But we still have a C wave left to the 4, and then we have one final drop down for the wave 5 of Bitcoin. When that happens, typically the crypto market follows Bitcoin, and we have most altcoins following Bitcoin for the most part. We should get maybe a little bit more of a dip here on Pepe, but not something crazy where we're going down, down here. I don't see that with Pepe. I just see a little bit more of a dip. Then we should see the up targets. Now, what we can do is project out a potential up target, and I'll show you what I'm thinking for Pepe using Elliott Wave rules. So let me move this into chart here. So this tool right here is called the trend-based fib extension. Essentially what this means is we're trying to figure out a wave 3 potential target for Pepe, and you take this from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1 and take it to the bottom of wave 2. That's not confirmed yet, but we're using hypotheticals here in terms of Pepe bottoming maybe somewhere around this region. And with that being said, a wave 3 target typically targets the 1.618. So you should see a move like this for Pepe. We should see, let me actually move these out of the way. So you should see something like this for Pepe. we'll get an impulse of 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 somewhere in this region. So I know that there's like a -4. I know Pepe has like a lot of zeros in the price. So it's basically anywhere between 0.0000031 and 0.000048. Somewhere in that region is what I'm thinking is going to be the next target for Pepe based on Elliott wave theory. And that is a potential, is that price range? That's a potential pretty significant increase in Pepe, honestly. That's like a 14x potential right there if we hit the 1.618, which for a wave 3 is the typical price target. So a potential on the table of some pretty significant gains in Pepe. And for me, if we use some other tools here in our toolkit, we do look like we passed the 0.786, which is a deep correction for Pepe, honestly. And that's typical with small market cap, high volatility tokens. But we should bottom here soon in Pepe, and then we should see some impulses to the upside, similar to Bitcoin, somewhere in this region. Let's see. Interlink said we might get a breakdown to 62K on Bitcoin, and that'll be the double bottom. Yeah, I can jump into Christian, do you have any? Okay, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, that for me, that's what's next on Pepe. We're still expecting a wave 3, and then we'll get a wave 4 correction somewhere maybe in this region, and then we'll get a final leg 5. But the next impulsive wave for Pepe is looking like again, this is a rough sketch, but we'll see 5 wave impulsive move up towards this point with 4 zeros, 4.8 price target. Now let's jump back over to Bitcoin, because I think this will provide I'm up in Alpharetta. Oh shit, nice. Okay, yeah, we're over in like the Chambly Brookhaven area. Let's see here. So this is going to provide some more context for other altcoins, because I think that a lot of altcoins are following and typically follow Bitcoin. But if we go down here on, let me do the 4-hour chart and you can see what I'm looking at, because I know there was some question. We'll jump into Solana and ETH after this too, because I know there were some questions for Solana and ETH. Let me make sure if I missed anything. Solana and ETH. Okay, we can dive into those after, but I want to provide some context for Bitcoin, because this is going to show you kind of what's next, if you will. Let me get that into, let me get all of this into, no, I want to go this way. Is that all on the frame there? Nope, a little bit more. Okay. So this is what I've been thinking for Bitcoin, and this, for me, is following a lot of other altcoins. Essentially what I'm thinking for Bitcoin, based on the rules of Elliott wave theory, is we're going to get something like this. And again, this squiggly line that I drew like, I don't know, 3 days ago, it was a rough sketch by any means, but for whatever reason, price is following the squiggly line. I don't know why. Again, this was just something I drew. It wasn't like, hey, I think price is going to do this, but it is kind of funny that price is kind of following it. But essentially what I'm thinking for Bitcoin right now, at least short term, is this was an A wave. We're in the B wave right now, and then we should get a final C wave of this larger AB. Let me change the color of that actually, because that's confusing. No, I don't like that. Let me change that to purple. That's terrible. I don't like purple either. Let's go like this green color. So what I'm thinking for Ethereum, or for Bitcoin right now, is something like this. So we've had this move right here for this wave 4. We have the A, we've had the B, and now we're in the C up. And of this C wave, so far we've had an A, a B, and we're expecting a C wave bounce here. And Aiden said, you're just him. What? I'm just him, man. I'm just him. No, I am very humble in the fact that this is happening, but don't trust my squiggly lines in the future. That's all I'm going to say. Ivan said, we going up now. For me, this is my theory for Bitcoin, is we've had an A, and I'll show you what that means. Here, where's my paintbrush? So of the A, we've had an A, B, C. Of the A, we've had this complex B, and then we should get an ABC for this other wave C. And I know I'm saying a bunch of words. If I'm confusing you, let me know. But essentially what happens with inside of these waves is you also get 3 subwaves. So we have an ABC for the A, We have this complex, like A, B, C, complex structure for this B. Confused? Okay, let me break it down a little bit easier. So the red color is the larger wave A. The green color is the smaller subwaves. Yeah, waves inside of waves. It's like the movie Inception. You know how they like keep going back in time in like other people's minds? It's like you have waves inside of waves inside of waves. Essentially, all that means is we have a larger wave A, aka this red one right here. So we have a larger wave A, and within inside of the wave A, because it is a corrective structure, you should see 3 subwaves of that, which is what we have. We have this A wave, this B wave, and then this C wave. Okay, boom. Now we have a wave A. Then within inside of this B wave of the larger B wave, which is still color coded to this red, so it's a part of this structure, we have like an A, a B, and an A, B, C kind of structure with another A, B, C. So it just, all that means is it's a complex B. And then of this larger wave C, still following the color coded red, you have the red A wave, the red B wave, the red C wave. And within inside of this red C wave, we're also going to see 3 more waves that are color coded in green. So essentially what I was thinking with this squiggly line is we should have an A wave, a B wave, and then a C wave of the larger C, of the larger 4. Now stop me if I'm talking nonsense here. And then once that 4 is complete, this is what we'll expect to see. We'll expect to see an impulse of 1, impulse of 2, impulse of 3, corrective 4, and then an impulse of 5 to complete this larger wave 5. That for me is the bottom. I'm going to pause there. If you're confused, just let me know. If you're tracking, put a thumbs up. I have a game now. I'll come later. Okay, Ivan. Yeah. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. Good luck with the game. But I'm going to pause there. Thumbs up. Okay. We're tracking. That's essentially what I'm thinking is next. And until further notice, we're still corrective. I think. LOL. Okay. Thumbs up. Okay. I think. Okay. Essentially, all this means... Let me just put it in like really simple terms so it's not that confusing. Essentially, all this means is this is a corrective wave 4. And until that's done, we're still expecting 1 more impulse down. Timeline. So the way that Elliott wave works, there's really not any sort of rules around timeline. Like there's not a lot of rules that say it has to happen in this specific period of time or any... Aiden with the roses. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That is, let's get Dub Aiden in the chat. Dub Aiden in the chat because he is on a mission right now. Gage from YouTube said Dub squiggly line. Dub squiggly line. Let's go. Squiggly line is on point right now. Until further notice, follow squiggly line. But I appreciate that, Gage. I appreciate that. Timeline wise, again, Richard, or is that I'm gonna mess that name up. Is that Mariah JU1234 timeline? There's really not rules on timeline. It's more Raj. Okay, perfect. I'll go by Raj. Awesome. Okay, Raj. There's really not a lot of rules for timing purposes. He's laughing. I'm not the best with words, man. I'm not the best with words. Anyways, I'm going to continue on. So with timeline, there's really not a lot of rules around that. It's more so identifying what the market wants to do. And for me, if I look on this on a larger time frame, I'll show you what I mean. Let me move everything into, let's see if, can I get everything in here? Hold on. Is that all in there? Yeah. Okay, let me move this a little bit more. I'm just trying to get everything on the vertical format because I know TikTok has been on the vertical format. I know Gage is on YouTube, so he sees the whole chart, so don't mind me here. But this is essentially the whole structure that I've been tracking now for the past couple months. And what I'm waiting for is we've had this A wave down here, this B up top, this larger wave B, and then I'm waiting for this larger wave C to finalize. And of this larger wave C, we've had a wave waves down, we're in the 4, and then we should see one leg lower. That's essentially what I've been tracking now for the past couple months. It's taken a long time, but of this final leg 5, this is what the whole structure essentially looks like. So we have, again, it's inception, right? It's waves with inside of waves with inside of waves. So the way that it works is corrective movements happen. So I'm going to do C. C is for corrective, and inside of corrective movements, you have 3 wave moves, which can happen like A, B, C, aka the squiggly line I drew. This is what it looks like in downtrends, and then in uptrends, you typically have an A, B, and a C like that. So the way that corrective movements work is you have 3 wave moves, and then in impulsive movements, which I'm going to label here as impulsive as an I, impulsive movements, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's like the way that it works is you have a 5-leg movement, and then after a 5-leg movement, it kind of looks like this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then after this is done, you have an A, a B, and a C. So you have impulses, which happen in 5-wave movements, then you have corrective, which is happening in 3-leg movements. And that's why for me, this wave 4 that we've been tracking is essentially a corrective movement. And once that's done, then we should see one more impulse to the downside. I know that's a lot of explaining, but I just wanted to make sure everything was clear of why I think this is a corrective. Where do you see the bottom? So for me, the way that we can target out potential bottoms, it's all going to be determined on when this wave 4 ends. But if wave 4 ends somewhere at like 73K, we can use this tool, which is essentially the fib retracement tool. And this, the rules around it for Elliott wave theory to project a wave 5 is you take it from the bottom of wave 3. If I can get it on the bottom of wave 3, I have this magnet tool, it's not working. Bottom of wave 3, and then you take it to the top of wave 4. So if based on what I'm seeing, we might top around 73, 74, maybe 75. We'll just call it 73,800 right now. And what our potential bottom could be is anywhere between the 1 and the 1.618 for the wave 5. It's very hard to time exact prices, but we can essentially use the rules of Elliott wave theory to gauge where it might bottom, or what's the most high probability zone that price wants to go. And the rules are pretty clear on it that wave 5 typically bottoms at the 1.618. Do we see that price? Maybe. But a good range, and this is why I've been saying 60 to 50K is a potential bottom, is anywhere between the 1 and 1.618, which is right at around 60K to 50K. So for me, this is a good bottoming zone for this leg 5, which we should see some impulsive moves out of this to start the next leg up. Got it. Okay. No exact timeline, but can you give us an estimate like Q2, Q4, or Q1 of 2? No exact time. You mean 2027? So timeline's tough, and the reason I'll tell you why timeline's tough is for things like this. So if we look on the monthly chart on Bitcoin, here, essentially when you see movements like this, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and this corrective movement has lasted for over a year. And I'll show you like on the date range. So for me, this was a 5-leg move. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the expanding flat A, B, C that I've been tracking for a while, but the date range of it, I mean, look at the date range of it. From the top of wave 5 to essentially where we're at now, it's 427 days. So it's really hard to predict timing because corrective structures can take a really long time to develop, and it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect or follow any sort of rule set, so to speak. But if my inclination or my hypothesis or my gut feeling is correct, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, what could potentially be next for Bitcoin? I'm looking at obviously the zone of 60 to 50K for a bottom. And then what I'm expecting out of this bottom is something like this. Hold on one second. I'm expecting, let me make sure this is in the window here. Actually, let me go to the weekly chart because then it'll be easier for me to keep everything in the play. So what I'm expecting here for Bitcoin based on where we're at right now. I know timing, I know I'm trying to answer your question the best that I possibly can, just using the rules of Elliott wave theory. Once we get this first impulsive wave 1 out of this low, which I think does come in the 60 to 50 region, so maybe we bottom at 55, just call it hypotheticals. We'll see an impulsive wave 1 out of this low, then we'll see a 2, then we'll see a 3, then we'll see a 4, and then we'll see a 5. And when that happens, it'll be a little bit easier to determine the price of the next price of a wave 3 and then potential targets for it. Impulsive waves happen a lot quicker than corrections. But for me, I was thinking about it in my head, I'm like, what could potentially happen? I think that we'll see a bottom here in the next, call it month, maybe 2 months max. And then we'll start seeing some impulsive moves into the summer. And then we'll probably have a short correction over the summer. Then we'll have a last leg up into the fall. And then we'll probably correct in 2027. And I think it'll be a sharp correction, probably like 2020, where everyone will expect... on the bullish side, everyone's expecting super cycle now because we've extended a little bit, and everyone's like, well, throwing the 4-year cycle out the window. They're all saying extended cycle. We're just going to bottom here, and then we're just going to extend. I think what'll happen is we'll probably get, a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3 into the summer, a correction, a wave 4 into the fall. We correct a little bit into 2027. Everyone's going to expect, maybe we'll get an A wave towards the end of the year. Then we'll get a B wave into the beginning of 2027. And then we'll get a sharp correction down. And for me, it'll be like a very fast correction. I'm just hypothesizing here. But I think we're going to get a pretty big leg up for the next leg, get a sharp correction down, and then we're going to go off to the races again. I could be wrong. Who knows? But I normally just go off of price and rules of Elliott wave theory. And for me, I don't necessarily see anything else that price could do because we've already had a five leg movement from here to here to here to here. That's a 5-wave move. Okay, what's next? You get an ABC corrective. Okay, after you get an ABC corrective, what happens next? Well, you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up out of that correction. And so I don't necessarily see any other place that price could go. If it does want to go anywhere else, it could be something like, I don't know, you could get a further correction. Like we have a 5-leg move, then we have this ABC, then we have another A wave, B wave, C wave, and then we have another ABC, and then we just correct. I mean, we could do that. Is it plausible? I don't know. Only price action will tell. And the way that we're going to be able to determine is further correction on the horizon or is it truly impulsive is what happens out of this low. If we get, say we bottom at 55K and we get a 3-wave movement out of it, that's not good because what that means is further corrections on the table. But if we truly get an impulsive 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, for me, that's starting the impulse. And then I know we're going to get a 3-leg movement out of that. Then we're going to get a 5-wave movement out of that. Then we'll get one more 3-leg, and then we'll get another 5-leg. And for me, that's going to be the telling sign is what happens once we bottom. Is it a 5-leg move or is it a 3-wave move? And you guys know if it's a 3-leg move, it's corrective. If it's a 5-wave move, it's impulsive. So really it all comes down to what happens out of this low. And from there, it'll be easier for us to determine if that move is impulsive or if that move is corrective. I'm still a bull. I still want to make money, right? I'm in where I'm in. I was in at 2022. I've rode that price up both with altcoins and Bitcoins, and everything looks pretty good. Like I'm in profit on some. I'm in the negative on some. Like Polkadot just didn't have any impulsive moves out of that 2022 low, and it further corrected. Polygon further corrected. Filecoin for me further corrected. But things like XRP, HBAR, Chainlink, Injective, Render, like tokens like that had pretty explosive, impulsive moves off the low. So I was able to make some money in that. And that was good. Like I made, I think, a 20x on Solana, a 20x on Render, and a 20x on Injective. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I took that profit and then rotated it into other coins, waiting for some impulsive moves off the low. didn't think that we could go lower than the 2022 low, just given what the price was doing. We did, which is fine. It's, for me, good levels to dollar cost average in. But I am underwater on some positions. I made some money on other ones. I've taken some profits on some. So I'm just waiting for what happens after this low. If we get an impulsive move off the low, I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. I'm down huge on Fowl. I like Filecoin from a fundamental standpoint. But yeah, I'm down a little bit on Filecoin. I bought some on the dip when it dipped down a little bit more to lower my cost average. But again, with high volatility, low market cap tokens, it's very hard to time bottoms. It's more of, can you accumulate in zones based on this strategy? Like, I know for Bitcoin, I probably won't get the target correct, but I know that what it wants to do next, and taking advantage of what it wants to do next is great, because then I have zones of interest. Like back in December, what the chart was telling me based on Elliott Wave rules is we should bottom between 80 to 70K. We just extended further than that, but I knew the correction wasn't done. And I was like, oh, 80 to 70K was hit. Okay, price is telling me it still wants to go lower, but we have to have a corrected bounce, which is what we're in now. And then after this, everyone's like bottoms in. And for me, bottom's not in yet. I still think we get one more leg lower. Can you do F? Yeah, let's jump over to F, because I know you had that question earlier. So yeah, we can jump over to F. It's very similar to Bitcoin in the sense that the charts look semi-similar, but it's a little bit different. So let me get all this into the frame here. Is that all in yet? No. So for me, Ethereum looks something like this. We've had the 2022 low down here. And then out of that 2022 low, we had this impulsive wave 1 out of it. We've had this corrective 2. And this is like a key zone for me for Ethereum, because it means my analysis is correct or it means my analysis is wrong. And I'll tell you exactly why. So looking on the daily chart, for me, let me get everything into screen. This is as small as I can make it. We're just going to analyze the wave 2. So for me, this was a wave 1. There was a 5-leg movement up here for the wave 1, and this is just a complex structure. Basically, it was an A wave, a B wave, and then this C wave down for wave 2. So we had this A wave, this B wave, C wave for wave 2, and then out of this leg 2, let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. Out of this leg 2, we had a 5-wave movement out of this leg 2. Up here for this mini wave 1 of the next. So it's confusing sometimes when I say like wave 1 and wave 2, so I'm trying to make it simple, but this big circle means it's the larger wave. These smaller icons mean it's the smaller subwave of the larger wave. And essentially what I think is going to happen for Ethereum is something like this. Can I not get that all in the chart? Hold on. I can't get it all on the chart on the daily. Let me go to the weekly. Okay. So for me, something like this is going to happen for Ethereum. Is we've had this wave 1, we've had this wave 2. My next target is this wave 3 up here. And if I take the low of the wave 2 and take this first impulsive move out of this wave 2, and then track it down to where price is like at right now, my next target for the wave 3 of this larger wave 3, so I have a small wave 3 of a larger wave 3, is right around 7,500. That's my next target for Ethereum, based on the rules of Elliott Wave 3. So I'm targeting basically 7,500, on the low end, like 5,300. So somewhere in that zone should be the next target for this smaller wave 3. And then once we get this target, we'll have a small correction for it, and then we'll have one more impulse to complete this larger wave 3. Then we'll have a major correction for the 4, and then we'll have one more impulse for the 5. That's essentially what I have for Ethereum. And then looking at it on a smaller time frame, we essentially have something like this. It's kind of similar to Bitcoin. I'm just waiting for it to complete one leg lower, and then for me that marks the bottom, because we've had this 5-leg move in this area right here. We've had an A wave, and then we've had a B wave, and then we had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're waiting for this wave 5. which for me bottoms around the same time as Bitcoin. So once Bitcoin completes its wave 4, it's going to have that, last leg down to the 60, 50K region. And then somewhere around, maybe a couple days, maybe a week, Ethereum will bottom with Bitcoin. And 4-hour chart. Let's see what the 4-hour chart looks like. Let me try to get everything in here. So this is essentially the smaller subwave of the other wave, but it's like 1, 2, 3. We're in the 4 right now. Technically that should be moved over here. And then we should get one leg lower on Ethereum. So I'm just waiting for everything to kind of bottom. Once Bitcoin bottoms, all these altcoins are going to bottom, and then they're going to start their next impulsive waves up. Is it a good time to dollar cost average Solana, Chainlink, SHIB, ETH, and Doge? Again, not financial advice, but for me, a lot of altcoins, especially the majors and even the miners, like some of the other ones, these are good. I will say some of these tokens are down worse than their 2022 lows. And I think it's great entry points. I've been kind of dollar cost averaging in a few right now just because the charts look so great. And these, who would have expected? My thing is, it was very hard to see this on the forefront, but some of these tokens are looking really attractive. Like Ethereum is looking really good. Let me draw Solana. Like this is what we charted it the other day. I did a video on it. I want to say I did a video on it today of Solana, but on the monthly, this is what I'm expecting for Solana. I just want to get this into the screen here. I think I can zoom in a little bit more. So for me, the next target for Solana is $535, and that's a little bit over a 5x from right here. Like for me, it's just such a great opportunity to get in and make some potential gains. Ram from YouTube said, "Hey, what's going on? What's your P&L lifetime?" P&L lifetime, I haven't sold any of my Bitcoin. I haven't sold any of my Ethereum. Let's see. I mean, I kind of feel weird about disclosing some of my stuff on live, but I will say the profits that I have taken so far, I hit a 20x on Solana. Basically, I got in here after this wave 1. I got in right around, I think, $15 and then rode it up to, I want to say somewhere around 221 is when I sold it. So I hit like a 15 to 20x on Solana. Render, I did a 20x. Injective, I did a 20x. I sold my Render. I didn't sell my Injective. I'm waiting for this next leg up to take some profits. Fetch, I hit like a 5x on Fetch, and I sold that. I don't sell my Bitcoin. I just hold my Bitcoin, so I don't really sell any of my Bitcoin. I'm more of a long-term investor as opposed to like a day trader. And do you trade on prop firms or your own capital? My own capital. I bought Doge, Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Ripple, and Link. I have Solana. I sold my Solana already. I have XRP. I don't sell my Bitcoin, and I do have Chainlink as well. I'm down like 50% on all. I think, do I average or wait? I mean, these are good dollar cost averaging prices, if I'm being honest. A lot of these charts, like Solana, for example, that we have on here, for me, the next target for Solana is $535 based on this structure. And the way that I'm getting that, I'll show you exactly how I'm getting it for Solana, is you take the trend-based fib extension, you take it from the bottom of a 5-wave move, essentially this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, take it to the bottom of this wave 2, and that's what I'm targeting next for Solana. Yeah, which is astounding. It's crazy. These things are down so much. 10 out of 10 kind of ruined us. Yeah, it's like a give and take, right? I think a lot of people were expecting, like Solana moved very quickly off the lows, and a lot of tokens did. Like like XRP had that huge pump, and HBAR had these huge pumps. XLM had these huge pumps. I'm still up on those. I haven't sold those because I'm waiting for the next leg up. But some tokens moved very early, whereas other tokens haven't moved yet. I'm just waiting for those impulsive waves off of the lows to determine where a potential target would be to take some profits. But you can't really guess which tokens are going to move first. I mean, what you could do is patiently wait for a wave 1 off the low and then dollar cost average in on the wave 2 and then ride up the wave 3 if you were looking to trade it. But if you're looking to do like, hey, I want to invest in this in the long term, you kind of just identify good buying opportunities and then hold for the long term until these happen, because like Polygon, Filecoin, some of these tokens haven't moved yet, and when they do, they're going to move quickly because they just haven't had any. They've had so much compression that once they move, they should move pretty quickly. Ram over from YouTube said, I'm scared it might dip more. Which do you think is right to average right now? Like, do I just leave Doge? It's not coming back probably. Which should I bother to average for real? I mean, I think Doge will perform very well in this next leg up. That's just my own personal opinion. I know XRP, we can jump into the XRP chart. And for me, XRP is looking very good. And the reason it's looking very good is because it had a strong impulsive wave off the low. And I think it was Ram over on YouTube. I'm just going to call you Ram because I don't know how to pronounce the whole thing. But you can see my whole chart on here on XRP, and I'm trying to fit it all in here for vertical on TikTok. But like for XRP, for example, you have price that looks like this. You have this strong wave one, like macro wave one off of these lows. And then you have this corrective ABC structure for a wave two, which happened over a period of, what was that, 2018 all the way to 2024. So you had a big correction for 6 years. And then you had this really strong impulsive wave one out of this corrective two. And for me, the next target for this mini wave three of XRP is $6. Then we'll get a small correction and then one more impulsive wave up to complete this three. Then we'll get a 4 and then we'll get a 5. So a lot of these altcoins are looking pretty good. XRP being one of them. I do like Filecoin from a fundamental standpoint. Solana looks pretty good. Chainlink looks really good. Like you kind of just have to take your pick, honestly. Trump coin. We can look at Trump coin. I will say again, more with Elliott Wave theory, it's better for tokens that have longer price history because it allows us to use the power of Elliott Wave theory. With high volatility, smaller market cap tokens, you're looking to get kind of in and out of those. So you'd have to trade. You would have to more trade them on a lower time frame using Elliott Wave theory, which you can do. You can do Elliott Wave theory on any time frame, but the way that I like to invest is more on these longer monthly time frames, and it's a little bit easier with tokens like XRP, Ethereum, Chainlink, Bitcoin that have 6-7 years of price action to go off of, and it allows for less volatility, but you can buy positions and hold them for a lot longer. You can still use it on smaller time frames, so we'd have to identify it on a smaller time frame. I'm planning on holding for like 30 years, and I think I got the worst possible entries I ever could. I don't know. Basically, just got the hot. Yeah, I mean, for long-term holding, like that is more. You can use Elliott Wave theory to identify buying opportunities to target out these next impulsive waves up. But you can also use fundamentals. The one platform I like to use, it's free. You can anyone can use it. It's called Token Terminal, and you essentially get to look at the token's fundamentals and economics, and you can look at how much revenue a project's bringing in, how much user growth they've had in their blockchain. Like, are people downloading their apps or whatever they do to get users on the blockchain? How much development activity are they doing? How much sales are they making? How much gross profit? So you can do fundamental analysis on a token to say, hey, I like this project long term. I'm going to invest in this token. That for a long-term projection, and then use Elliott Wave theory to identify key zones to buy into and then sell out of to make money. That's the way that I kind of do it, is look at it from a fundamental standpoint first, then use Elliott Wave theory to identify zones of good buying opportunities, but also good selling. High Speed on TikTok said, yep, I hit 5x on XRP, then rotated profits into other layer ones. I essentially do the same thing with Solana. I took profits out of Render, Solana, and then I moved them into CeeLo was another project I bought into. I'm down on CeeLo right now. I'm down a little bit on CeeLo, but CeeLo for me has a great fundamental analysis on Token Terminal. Their project looks phenomenal. Like, user growth is up, gross profit is up, revenue, like all this stuff is growing. And it's a mobile first blockchain, which I think is pretty unique. I'm just waiting for those impulsive waves off the low to identify, okay, we've had, like XRP, right? We've had this impulsive wave off the low, off this correction. We've had this wave one and we're in the wave two right now. Now we can project out a wave three. I'm waiting for major cap tokens to hit their impulsive ones. And then once we get the 1, wait for the 2, and then we can project out a 3 to take some profits. Raj said, can I book one-on-one call, bro? I haven't done any coaching yet, Raj. That is something I am contemplating at the moment. I've had maybe 4 or 5 others ask for like one-on-one coaching, or I guess training, if you will. I haven't set anything like that up, but given if there's enough interest, I think I'll probably do that. And then I can start doing some, coaching on how to do this stuff so that you don't have to necessarily rely on me to do charting. Like, obviously you can use me as a resource. I'm happy to do it. Like going on live stream like this and looking at charts and showing you guys how I do it. 100%. I'm always going to do that. But if you guys want one-on-one coaching or more of like a group coaching call where I can train, coach, things like that, I am exploring that option as well. I just haven't done that yet. So stay tuned. And once I do that, I'll definitely make an announcement on that for sure. In the wave theory, is it possible that 59K good could be the bottom already? Possibly, maybe. I'm assuming, Richard, you're mentioning Bitcoin, correct? For 59K being the bottom. Yes. For me, I mean, I'll jump back over to it just so I can show you what like I'm looking at. So for me, I don't think it's the bottom. The reason I don't think it is the bottom is, and I'll show you why, is, oh, nope, I want this here. The reason I don't think this is the bottom is if we were to get a bottom, this is what price should do. Let me zoom in a little bit more so I can get everything in the chart. So if this were to be a bottom, actually, let me leave a little bit of room so I can show you. So say, for example, I'm going to draw it down here. So this, I'm essentially drawing this right here. So this is the wave down, right? So this is what we have currently. We have this wave down, which is represented by this red line. What we have price doing is something like this. We have this, this, this. We have this B, and then we have this, this, and then price should do this. This is what I'm trying to like. Does that make sense? Like, so I basically just drew what's up here. Does that make sense? Just let me know with a thumbs up if that makes sense, if you're following, if you're tracking. Yes. Okay, perfect. So this is essentially the drop down. This is the low right here. This is the low. This is the low. What should happen out of this low, instead of what it's doing, right? Like this looks very choppy, right? If you were to look at this, you're like, hey, price is in consolidation, right? Like it's very choppy. And that's typical with wave 4s. You get like this A, B, and then a C movement out, and then you get a drop out of the 4. What I would like to see price do to confirm that it's a bottom, or at least show me that it could potentially be a bottom, is something like this. Instead of this movement out, this 3-wave movement, so instead of going boom, boom, boom like that, I want to see price do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I want to see price do off of a bottom to determine, okay, now we have a bottom, we have an impulsive wave out of it. That for me is going to mark the bottom. Until we see that, bottom's not in. And if I look at this on more of a longer time frame, it's also showing to me that bottom is also not in, because we still have to complete this, wait, it's not in screen. This final like 5. And because price moved the way that it moved a 3-wave movement up for an A complex B, and then we're in this 3-wave movement C. Once we get the top up here, we're going to see a movement like this out of the top. Then for me, this is going to be the bottoming area. And once we bottom here, what I would expect price to do based on sort of all the analysis that I've done so far is we get this final bounce for 4, we get a 5-wave move down for 5, and then we get this out of the 5. We get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. That for me, once we see that, bottoms in. That is what I'm expecting. Do I know necessarily where the price is going to be for a bottom? No, but I know a range based on, again, what we were going through earlier on Bitcoin and using some of the tools is for the 3 being down here and the 4, maybe we bottom at or top out at 74, which is called 74. For me, what price should do out of this top is we should have a 5-leg move down, and price typically targets the 1.618 for a wave 5. And that's why I've been saying for a couple weeks now, the bottom should come between 60 to 50K, because that would mean we would get to the extension 1, which is essentially like I don't know how to explain it, but essentially what that would mean is price typically bottoms between the 1 and the 1.618. Could extend, possible, but a good range is somewhere in this 60 to 50K region. Once that happens and we get an impulse out, it'll be quick and fast. It'll be very sharp. And that for me, I'll be like, hey, bottom's in. But until then, I'm still expecting 1 leg lower based on the analysis I see on the chart. Ram over from YouTube said, in short, I should average all, like right now is fine. I'm not really tracking crypto at all. Basically, I put 5% of my total capital or savings in crypto, and now I'm going to have to average with 5% more. I'm going to blindly average on your basis of opinion. Yeah, again, not financial advice. It's my opinion. However, I used to have my Series 6 and 63. I was a financial advisor for a period of time. I could legally provide investment advice in the past. I've since moved on from that, and I don't have my licenses anymore. I wish I would have kept them, and I could actually provide financial advice. But I don't have it, so legally I can't. But in my opinion, based on these levels, I would say once this wave 5 comes down, we're going to see a dip in altcoins as well. I would say either start dollar cost averaging now or give it, I don't know, a few weeks for this wave 4 to complete, and then we'll get a wave 5 and then just dollar cost average on the dip. That would be what I would do. That's my personal opinion of what'll be next. Let's see. Gon said bye, Mr. Bull. Thoughts on Ondo? Has it bottom? Yeah, let's jump over to Ondo. I don't own any Ondo. I thought about buying some for a period of time, but I don't currently have any Ondo. The problem with Ondo, and this is just me being transparent, is the problem with Ondo is we don't have that much price action to go off of. That's the only problem with Ondo. Like this structure right here, I believe this is all the price action we have. I think the token launched in January of 2024. This is the chart that I pulled up. It's the spot crypto chart. I think this one has all the price action. I can't see what's behind this. I'm only going off of what I have. And for me, this almost looks like, and I'll show you, I wish I could put 2 on the chart. This almost looks like Cardano's token launch. If you go back to Cardano's token launch, it looks like this. What does that mean is, for me, this looks corrective. The token's just trying to find its footing. Where do market participants want to price this token? And for me, it almost looks like, wait, let me keep that in there. I need my drawing tool. This almost looks like an ABC movement, and then we have another ABC movement out. To me, this is tough. This one's tough because it's brand new, so I don't really have a lot of price action to go off of, but it looks like you have a ABC movement, another ABC movement. So technically, this could follow something like this. So you have an A, a B, and then you have a C wave. It could follow something like that. But if you go back and look at Cardano, I'm going to show you what I mean. If you go back and look at Cardano on its token launch, it's somewhat similar, but you can see like it had this big, kind of correction before it started impulsing up. So you have this, corrective kind of structure, if you will, down here. Price just trying to find its footing, and then we get these impulsive waves out. For me, I would just wait for the impulsive waves on Ondo because we don't really have a lot of price action to go off of, given the token's only like, what? Is that January? 2 years old? Which is kind of hard to chart. Again, Elliott Wave theory is more geared towards like longer established tokens. So that's why this one's hard to determine. Ondo, for me, it's kind of just in corrective mode right now. But if we see something like this, so say this is the bottom, right? We had this, corrective choppy structure. Say we get an impulse of wave 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and a 5. For me, then it allows us off this first impulse. If you already own the token, I would say hold it because it is fundamentally a good token. I know that Ondo's working with BlackRock and it has some good fundamentals behind it. But if we get this big impulsive one off and then we get this two, what we can do is we can take this fib extension tool and then chart out what a potential wave 3 target could be. And then that would give us the ability to identify zones. But until that happens, it's kind of just in either corrective mode or trying to find its footing. I wish I could give you better news on Ondo, but until we see some impulsive moves, it's kind of just in corrective mode. Helpful. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try to be as transparent as I can. I try to do as best I can to provide, advice or my opinion. But for Ondo, it's tough because we don't have a lot of price action. Ram from YouTube said, don't stress, just your opinion. Thanks a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I just waited. It's 6 a.m. in India. I'm going to sleep now. Thanks for the help and keep going. You seem smart and I'm going to join back if I see you online other than sub and like. Thanks, Ram. I appreciate that. I will be live. I'm basically live Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what that is for you. I think you're 9 hours ahead of me, I want to say. So I don't necessarily know what the time is there, but I will be live around this time, Sunday through Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I look forward to seeing you back. Thank you for thanks for joining and thank you for the subscription. Let's see. Healthcare, what's bad? What's going on, man? How you doing? The goat of charting. Y'all keep calling me the goat. Don't inflate my ego now. I'm a humble guy. But I appreciate the support. I really do. Next live, you should mirror your camera so we can read those cool posters. Oh, these ones right here. So this one, I can't remember where I got these, to be honest. The one all the way over here that I'm pointing at on this side. This one says grind. In the middle, it says execution. And the last one, it says hustle. But yeah, I can mirror it next time so you can read it for sure. Absolutely. Thank you, helpful. Have you looked at Zcash yet? No, I can jump into Zcash. Richard said, so it sounds like a bull run for us. Doesn't look like it's going to be sometime in 2027. I mean, for me, let's jump back over to Bitcoin on a longer time frame just so I can answer Richard's question, and then we can go over to Zcash. Zcash, for me, I haven't looked at it, so I'm not sure, but we can start from scratch, which is good. So Bitcoin for me, you know what? Let me see if I can do this. So, okay, let me shrink this down. I'm going to do it in pieces, and it'll make a lot of sense once I do it in pieces. I know for those of you that are on TikTok, I have both options available now, so you can view the live in both vertical and horizontal. I think you just flip it on your screen. So if you prefer a widescreen view, feel free to do that. If you prefer the vertical, keep it at that. I don't want to mess up what you're doing, but I have the ability to do both now. I'm also live on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, so if you prefer that, feel free to join on that avenue as well. But I want to show you what I look at from a Bitcoin standpoint on a long-term time frame, and I'll show you why. Like, this is what's going on in my head and where my thesis is at. So we've had the token launch back in 2013, right? And for me, this was the impulsive wave 1. Where's my draw tool? So we had an impulsive wave 1. We had a corrective 2. So that's the 1 and the 2 of the larger trend. That's the larger trend. Tap the square button on the side for TikTok. Yeah, so if you tap the square button on the side of TikTok, you can see my entire screen as opposed to just the small vertical format. I'm going to keep it in both because TikTok Studio, the live studio, allows me to do both. So I'm just going to give both options. But this, for me, was the impulsive wave 1, followed by the impulsive wave 2. Hold on one second. TikTok Live Studio has me doing this thing. Okay. So this was the impulsive wave 1, impulsive wave 2. Now, from y'all that follow my videos, you know that impulsive waves happen in 5-wave moves. And this is the larger trend of Bitcoin. So we have a 1, a 2. Then we have this big wave 3 for the 2017 cycle. So if you're following me now, we have the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3. Then we have the 2021 or the 2017 to 2020. Basically, we have an A, a B, and a C for a wave 4. So we have this wave 4 down here for COVID. And then we have a final leg 5. So if you're following if you're picking up what I'm putting down here, essentially what this means is we've completed I think I can get everything on one screen. Oh, perfect. Okay. So we've completed a huge macro 5-wave move. So we've had the wave 1 here in 2013, a wave 2, a wave 3 in 2017, a wave 4 which bottomed in 2020. We had this big ABC corrective. Then we had a wave 5. So boom, we have a huge macro 5-wave trend. Then outside of that, we get this huge correction for 2022, which if you look at this entire chart back from the beginning all the way to the 20, that for me, this was the top. So we're trying to get to the top. Okay. So we have this huge 5-wave move up, and then we correct this entire move. So this whole move from 2013 into 2021, we correct the entire move almost to the 0.786, which means we corrected the move about 78%. So we have this huge correction, right? Okay, boom, that's good. We have a huge impulsive wave 1, impulsive 2, or corrective 2, impulse 3, corrective 4, impulse 5. Now, what happens, again, y'all that know my videos and the way that I chart, what happens after a 5-wave move? We get an ABC, which is what we got. We got this ABC movement down. Let me zoom in a little bit more because you probably can't see that. So after this high, we get an ABC move down. Okay, now we have a 5-wave move, a 3-wave corrective. What is next? After that, we get a 5-wave move. Now, what may throw a lot of people off right here is this 5-wave move for me is just a smaller subwave of a larger one. So what do I mean by that is we have for me, this is an extended wave 1. And the way that it works in Elliott wave theory is you have an extended wave 1, which is topping here. We have this 2, then we're going to get a 3, a 4, and a 5 to complete a larger wave 1. 4, now I don't want to confuse all of you guys, but if this is tracking, let me know. Basically, you have this big 5-wave move, then you have a corrective. So you're basically starting from 0 again because you had a 5-wave move, then a correction. So you're starting from 0. Then what'll happen is you'll get this big wave 1, which I do think probably tops at around 200. Then you get a big correction wave 2, which I think for me will happen in 2027. Then you get a big impulsive wave 3, which for me I think ends in 2029. And then you have a correction 4. Then you have another big impulsive wave 5, which ends somewhere around 2033. So then now you have another 5-wave impulsive move similar to the move that started back in 2013. Then what'll happen is this entire move from here to 2032 will get a big ABC correction down that'll correct from 15K to whatever it goes to at the top. And that'll be another full reset of a 5-wave move. Now, I said a lot of stuff. Does that make sense? Or is that tracking? Am I talking a different language here? Let me know. This is what I'm thinking is tracking. Okay, tracking. Okay, high speed tracking. Yes, Christian Cowboy tracking. Okay. Now, this is the way that I was thinking about this in my head is there's already been a 5-wave move. We had a good shit. Okay, cool. So we've already had a 5-wave move, which corrected in 2021 down to the 2022 lows. Boom. We had 5-wave move, 3-wave move. Now we're in the next 5-wave move. And what we are seeing now, I think due to the ETF, which is an interesting play, and that's why I think this is an extended wave 1, essentially this big wave 1 right here. Let me move some of these drawings so it makes it clear. The reason I'm saying this is an extended wave 1, and I'll show you why. So what do you see on... Let me move some of these red drawings. So what do you see on this cycle? The 2021 cycle, right? These are monthly candles, by the way. You see this big impulsive move up for the wave 5 in the 2021 cycle. Do you see any similarities or differences to what this looks like? I'll tell you in a second, but I want to ask first before I give you the answer. On this move up from the bottom of 2020 to the top in 2021, do you see any similarities between this move and this current move that's happening? ABC, yes, that would be correct. Yep. But do you see any other differences between this move right here and this move? I'll give you the answer in a second, but I just want to see. Christian Cowboy is correct. We do have an ABC move, which we didn't have before. Large wave one. Okay. I'm going to give you some props on that one because that is correct. Essentially, for me, why I think this cycle is different is because we have an extended wave one. And what I mean by that is of this wave one right here, this large wave one, you can see on the monthly chart, we have a 5-wave move on the monthly, which we haven't had before on any other cycle. If you look, this is the current cycle. Look at this cycle. Do you see a 5-wave move here? You don't. You don't see a 5-wave move on the monthly. You kind of technically see a 5-wave move in the 2017 cycle, and I think that's why it was so extended. Because it looks like on the monthly candle, you kind of have this wave one, wave two, maybe a wave three up here, maybe a wave four, wave five. But you have this big extended cycle in 2017. In 2013, you kind of have the same thing too. You have a wave one here, a wave two, a wave three, a wave four, and a wave five. So for me, the reason why I think this is an extended cycle is because we have a 5-wave move on this monthly candles. We're in the corrective 2 right now. And then what we should see out of here is a 3, a 4, and a 5 to complete this larger wave 1. That for me is what's next based on what the chart is showing. I may be contraring to other people, but what I'm thinking is we get another 3, a 4, and a 5 to complete this wave 1. Then we get a big correction 2. Can you explain the range? I like it. I like it too because it means extended prices. But that's just what, in my mind and my hypothesis, is right now based on what the chart is. Can you explain the range you're awaiting on price point for Bitcoin to drop for you to load up both? Then your approximate exit price probably repeat. Sorry. Yeah, no problem at all. So for me right now, because we are in this wave 1, wave 2, for me, it depends on how you want to trade it. For me, I don't really trade Bitcoin. I just buy at zones and then hold for the long term. So I'm not really interested of like, you know, buying here and then selling up here. Like that's just not really my strategy. However, these are good buying opportunities. So I would look to maybe buy here and then sell like 10 years later. Like that, for me, that's sort of my strategy. Again, it's kind of take your pick, so to speak, like whatever kind of fits your preference. But for me, I like to invest more for the long term because you remove a lot of the volatility and it doesn't really concern you that much. But right now, for me, given this wave 2, for me, these are good buying zones. And my next target based on the daily chart is, it looks like this. Let me make sure I'm getting this in the whole chart here. For me, this is kind of what my price looks like. Is we have the wave 1, wave 2, this wave 3. We're in the 4 right now, and then we should get one final leg lower for the wave 5. And for me, that comes in the range of 60 to 50K based on the rules of Elliott wave theory. Is somewhere in the 60 to 50K region we should bottom, and those are good dollar cost averaging zones. Once we see this drop, I think the entire move down is a great dollar cost averaging zone for the long term. So I would say if you're looking to get into Bitcoin in the long term, these are great prices. I mean, you're getting in lower. Well, kind of right now you're at the same price as 2021 high, but once it dips a little bit lower, I think you're going to get in better prices than people that bought the top from last cycle. Is the movement over the last 2 days going along with your thesis? Yeah, it those heart emojis are hilarious. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. I still don't know what those do. Again, I'm newer to live streaming, so I don't really know what all those things do. I've seen it on before, like people put like cowboy hats and shit on. I thought it was them doing it. I didn't know it was the chat giving that. But But yes, the movements, and we can dive in it on the 4-hour chart. Basically, the movements the last couple days have been further validating my thesis, so to speak. And the reason I say that is because of this. So we've had a 3-wave movement for the wave A of the larger wave A. Then we've had this complex B. Then what I'm seeing right now, and again, I drew this squiggly line as just more of a joke, but it is kind of following it, which is hilarious. But the way that I'm thinking of this next move, which is these green ABC movements, is we should get the A, which for me, we've already had. Then we get this B, which I think we bottomed for the B. The reason I say we bottomed for the B is, let me zoom in on it more on a smaller time frame here, just so you can see like what I'm looking at. Let me just focus on this. So for the A, now this is essentially what you call a zigzag corrective formation, and I'll break it down just so it makes sense. But in a zigzag, essentially you get a 5-wave move up, a 3-wave move down, and then another 5-wave move up. And for me, this is what it looks like. So we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5 to complete this wave A. Then we had a wave A, B, and a C to complete this wave B. And what we should see now for this wave C of C is something like this. We should see a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then a 5 to complete this wave C. That's what I'm thinking is going to be next. And then once we get this price action coming out over the next 1 to 2 weeks, I think for me that'll mark the bottom of wave 4, or the top of wave 4 rather. And then from there, once we top out somewhere up here, we should see something like this. We'll get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then a 5. And that for me will mark the bottom. That's what I'm expecting as sort of the next price action to come out. Ram over from YouTube said, I thought you were going to bed. You're back in here. You're just addicted to them charts. I respect it because I am too. What makes it not possible for Bitcoin to just stay down or stay at around 30 to 60K levels? I mean, for me, just based on what the chart is telling me and the smaller time frame analysis, based on my smaller time frame analysis, we are in, and I'll show you on the daily, or no, the 4-hour can show it. Let me get it all on the chart here. So the reason I think that we're going to bottom in the 60 to 50K region is this right here. So this for me was the larger top of the wave 4, and then we're in this final wave 5. And in this final wave 5, you also get 5-wave moves, which we've had 3 already. We're waiting for the 4. We've had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. We're waiting for the wave 4, and then we'll get one more drop 5, which will complete the entire expanding flat move. And that's why I think we don't go lower to 30K. That's why I'm expecting 60 to 50 based on the smaller time frame analysis. We could go lower if we get a deep, wave 1 with a deep wave 2 with a deep wave 3. I mean, it could be possible, but based on the rules of Elliott Wave and kind of what's next, I don't see us going that low. Ivan, what's up? You think it will still drop a bit before going up? Based on the smaller time frame, I don't necessarily see another drop unless we do something like. The reason I don't think it will move anymore is because, let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so the reason I don't think we're going to drop anymore is because we've had the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5 of the wave A, and we've had this A, B, C drop already. And for me, this was a wave B, and then we had this drop C. I don't think we go lower than this unless this wave B turns into a further complex structure. Maybe we get an A bounce out, a B bounce, and then a C, and then we get another A, B, and then C. Who knows? But if that happens, then this would turn into... This might be confusing, but it'll turn into something like this. And complex structures are a little bit harder to gauge because they are complex, but essentially what we would get is this would be a W, hold on. This would be a W down here, and then this, and then we would get an X wave here, and then a Y wave here of B. So it would be a complex B, and then we would get the impulse or price action to the upside to complete the wave C. But based on what price action is showing me right now, we've had the A, we've had the B, and then we've had the C. And if we get an impulsive 1 up and then a 2 and then a 3, for me, that B wave is in. So I don't know if we go lower than this right now. But it could possibly happen if we turn into a complex structure. I didn't know I sent it, but you are welcome to. I'm figuring out the TikTok live stuff too. Yeah, I have no clue. I have no idea. But it is cool, though, some of the stuff that comes on. I think it's hilarious. Did that answer your question, Ram, on YouTube? Did that answer your question? I hope it did. And some sort of good reason will trigger the drop for the 5th wave, and that's when max fear and panic will ensue, and that's when we ride. Yeah, exactly. So it's all the reason I love this strategy or this theory and this strategy so much is because Elliott wave theory factors in emotions, and it factors in like the fear, the greed, the emotional aspect of investing. Like you got to think like the market is a direct representation to some extent of the psychology and the emotion of people. So that's why when you see like max fear, it's great buying opportunities, because when everyone's fearful, it's the old Buffett saying, right? When everyone's fearful, you want to get greedy. And then when everyone's greedy, you want to get fearful. It's like you reverse what 90% of people do, and you typically do really well. And that's why for me, like this entire move, I've had a lot of people saying, not everyone, I mean, again, like I document my thoughts and I document my process. You can agree with it, you cannot. I do it because I want to document everything, and I just want to do it for myself. And I love this stuff. Like I love charting. I love looking at charts. I love investing. I love finance. Like I just knew from a very young age, like this is what I wanted to do. And it's really nice that I get to have a community now that I can talk with you guys. We can kind of go through charts together. I can help you. I can coach you based on the failures and successes that I've had, so that you don't make the same things I did. But it's a really cool experience. So I'm really enjoying it. But this move to me is not impulsive. And I know everyone's saying bottom is in, bottom is in. It just doesn't look impulsive. I mean, you just look at it. Like everyone's like, well, this is the bottom down here. But if you look at this move, that's not an impulsive move. That's a corrective move. Like you don't have an impulsive move out of this low, which means corrective. And then we have this ABC move, then we have this corrective B, and then we're having this corrective C. Everyone up here at the top of this wave C is going to be saying bottom is in. And then guess what's going to happen? We're going to correct one more time. Then everyone's going to flip bearish. Everyone's going to think it's a bear market, and we're going to 20K. And then price is going to quickly reverse and catch everyone off guard again. Just like it just rinses and repeats so much. Sorry, I think I messed up your answer. You think it's going to drop a little more and then go up to C? No, so I think from here, I think the wave B is in, and then we should see the wave C upwards to complete this wave C. So I think from where we're at right now, we should see price kind of approaching this wave C. That, for me, is kind of what's next. People will be shorting around Bitcoin around 75 to 78K. Yeah, I think people actually might go long around there, because they're going to think that the bottom's in. What's your estimated time frame for the bottom of the potential 5th wave? See, the thing with the Elliott wave, that's the one caveat to Elliott wave. It's more geared around price as opposed to time. Now, these are 4-hour candles, and price has been moving, dare I say, pretty good in terms of like it's correcting the way that it should. It's moving nicely. It's not like, flip-flopping around. Like it's moving generally pretty nice. Like we have a clear A, a clear B, and we're in this C. So, I mean, maybe this C happens end of week, and then maybe the following week after that we get the drop, and then because what's today's date? The 15th? I mean, maybe this wave C up here, maybe this wave C up here happens this week. Then the next 2 weeks, we get the impulsive wave down. So maybe by like beginning of March, mid-March, we bottom. And then from there, it's up from there. But time is very hard. I'd trade more on price as opposed to time, because time is very hard, where with Elliott Wave, you get a lot of rules around price, which can help you, and it gives you more direction of where price could potentially go, which is really nice. When the bottom is in, then the rebound is higher than the final drop. Also, it could be an entry. Wait, let me make sure I understand that correctly. When the bottom is in, then the rebound is higher than the final drop. Also, it could be an entry day reversal. I think I understand you correctly. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case too. But yeah, once we get this bottom, I mean, this is kind of what I've been thinking for the bottom is, let me get this into frame here. But once we get this bottom in this 5, for me, what price will have to do to show me that it's a bottom is we get an impulse. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Hold on. We'll get some level of impulse of wave 1, then we'll get a 2, then we'll get a 3, then we'll get a 4, and then we'll get a 5. And then from there, like, boom, we got the impulse out of the bottom. Exactly what I want to see. So this is going to be an impulse of wave 1. And then we'll get a correction, then we'll get an impulse of wave 3, then we'll get a correction, then we'll get an impulse of wave 5. But I do think once we bottom, because you got to think, like, what have people been doing on... let me get the weekly so I can get the whole thing in. What have people been doing on this entire move down? They've been loading up on shorts. So the way that longs have gotten liquidated on the way down, my thought is it's going to be reversed, and then once we start impulsing up, the shorts are going to get liquidated, and we're going to liquidate all the shorts, and we're going to get those huge, big price action candles with all these shorts liquidated. Then you'll see, like, Watching Guru on Twitter be like, oh, 100,000, a million, 200 million, or whatever it is, like 500 million shorts are liquidated in the past 24 hours. Like, you're going to see that on the upside, and then everyone's going to get major bullish, and then the euphoria will come in, and then that's when I will get nervous. I'm watching a hockey game and listening to the stream from time to time, addicted to the charts. same man, same. That's why I love doing this stuff. Like, I love coming on live. I love doing these charts every day. It is addicting, but it's a passion of mine. Like, I really love it. Jonathan said, Canton Network, just curious from you. I'm not, is Canton Network. I'm not familiar with Canton Network. Is that a token? Is that token? Canton Network? Okay, I can look at Canton Network. Well, to be honest, we don't really have a lot of price action here, so for Elliott Wave Theory, it really wouldn't work. I mean, I could do a small time frame analysis, but to be honest, like, I mean, unless there's other... I mean, I guess this has a little bit of price action, but I mean, maybe a 1, a 2, and maybe a 3 is starting, but 2, it's... At this point, this one is too... There's not enough price action to determine. Like, we had a big correction down. Maybe this is an impulsive 1 with a 2 with this, but it's... The way that Elliott Wave Theory is designed, it's not really designed for token launches or very volatile small cap coins. It's more geared towards larger cap tokens with price history. Probably buy in then and sell at the top. Yeah, you could do that, Ivan, if you want to. I mean, again, it's just my opinion. I think we are in the C now. So for me, I think you could potentially, long and sell at the top if you so choose, because I do expect us to be a wave 4 around 73, maybe 75K. So are you picking a number to set a stop buy order on Bitcoin? What number do you choose hypothetically? Of course. For me, it'll be more of a dollar cost entry strategy. So once we get the low, I'll just start buying on the dip, as opposed to trying to pick set numbers. Like, if we get into the 60 to 50K region and I see, an impulsive 1 with a 2 and then a 3, I'll start buying on that impulsive wave 3, wait for the corrective 4, on the wave 5, start buying there. Wait, so you're saying the bottom of wave 5 is sometime in summer of 2026? No, I never, that for me, I think the bottom comes within the next month or so. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But again, Elliott Wave Theory is geared more towards price as opposed to, like, timing. And the way that the 4-hour candles are moving, I mean, we could see a bottom in, end of February, maybe March, is kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't trade time, because it's very hard to predict time and when these corrections could happen. I mean, it could be said for this whole corrective movement, like who could have predicted that this entire movement would have taken over a year? So I'd trade more off price. Yeah, exactly. Like corrective movements take so long. It's very hard to determine when they're ending. And then from corrective movements, you can get further corrective movements. And then it just like, it goes into this complex structure and you're like just shaking your head like what the hell's going on. So for me it's more geared towards price and price action, and once you start developing an understanding of how the market moves with like impulses up, you get 5-wave moves, then 3 waves down, then 5 waves, then 3 waves. It allows you to say, okay, we've had a 5-wave move, we've had a 3-wave move, I'm going to start buying here, waiting for the next 5-wave move. But timing is really hard. I get a lot of questions every single day across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, even X of, you know, when is the market going to move? When is the top? When's the bottom? I don't trade based on time. I trade based on price. And so far it served me very well. So far it allows me to be very strategic of where I buy and where I sell. But I think for me and the way that crypto is structured, there's this very like consensus that it's like get rich quick, make as much money as a short amount of time. And I think that's where a lot of people get burned, and they think they're going to get rich in 6 months, and then it takes longer than it should, and then they sell their tokens and the token goes parabolic, and then they get pissed and they're like, well, why don't I just keep it? So I think having a level of patience and not trying to get rich quick and just stacking tokens when good buying opportunities present themselves, and then waiting. Because you're not going to get rich quick. If you think you are, you're going to get wrecked in crypto. That's just the way it works. It's a lot more volatile than stocks. And if you're trying to buy and sell on certain periods of time, it's gonna be very hard to do that. And while there is the ability to do it on a smaller time frame with Elliott Wave theory, it's possible, but it's a lot harder. There's a lot more volatility to it. Whereas if you buy at good zones, like this next drop, I think is going to be a great buying zone for Bitcoin, in my opinion. The 60 to 50K region for this final leg 5 is going to be a great opportunity to get in. So, you know, hold this for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years. Like it's going to be a good buying opportunity. Zcash. All right, healthcare. Let's go to Zcash. I haven't looked at Zcash, but I know it had a huge pump. I know that for a fact. I know that there were a lot of people diving into Zcash. Like that thing had let's look at Zcash. Let's go to the monthly. Let me get this here. Let me make sure I get everything in. Zcash looks interesting. Is everything in there? All right, so okay, so Zcash for me, this whole movement here, all corrective. That's all. I tried to warn you, dude. Yeah, Zcash had a huge pump. So this whole movement, all corrective. However, it does have an impulse, which let's zoom in here. So these are monthly candles, by the way. Now with Zcash, this does have a clear impulse of 1. So for me, this is a 1, this is a 2, 3, that's a terrible drawing. Let me start that over. This is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, we're in the 4, and we should get a final wave 5. After this wave 5, we'll get a 3-leg collective down, and then we'll get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. For me, Zcash actually looks rather bullish. However, I wouldn't buy until after the 5-wave movement is done. So let me mark this out. So for Zcash, we have the wave 1, we have the wave 2, we've had the wave 3, the wave 4, we should get another wave 5, and then we'll get a correction A, B, and then C. Something like that. Again, this is not perfect, it's just rough sketches. But what I would do if you're looking to get into Zcash is wait for this ABC corrective movement down, because we'll correct a significant chunk of this move. It'll probably, say we top out at, I don't know, 900. It'll correct somewhere to the 0.5 to the 0.618. So you could probably get in at 475 to 366. You could get in now, but expect this dump afterwards. But as far as what I'm looking at on Zcash, we do have some pretty good movements. Let me see what this targeted actually. Yeah, so you had a huge extension. Zcash had a huge extension. How far did that extend up? 3618 maybe? Oh, it went over that. 4? No, went over that too. 468? Damn. All right, this thing just went parabolic in wave 3 then. There's no extensions on the fib extension that even provides context of that, but that wave 3 is huge. That's a massive wave 3. Then we're in the 4. We should get one more wave 5. I have a great way to find a new stock categories. Before breakout, I'll have to tell you about it. Yeah, I'm absolutely, yeah. Send me a DM, Christian Cowboy. I'm definitely happy to look at that. Mr. Carlo, what's going on, Mr. Carlo? How are you? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you stopping by. Time frame, this is monthly candles. Wave 4.3. Let's see. Actually, let's see how far we're down right now. So we almost corrected to the 0.786, honestly. Of this wave 3, we've corrected pretty far. And let's see how far we corrected on this wave 2. So wave 2, we corrected to the 0.786 too. So double corrections to the 0.786. As long as price, and again, this is what? 191. What's the top here? As long as price doesn't correct past like $80, this is a 5-way move. I don't think price will drop that far, but let's dive into the smaller time frame to get a better understanding of what that looks like. So like diving into this wave 4. That's going to line up with Bitcoin dip at bottom of it. So I think so. I do think so. I think major altcoins, a lot of altcoins are going to bottom once Bitcoin bottoms. Let's throw the fibs out the window then, unless the 6.1. This wave 3 went absolutely stupid. Like the wave 1, the wave 2, this thing extended. You'd have to go to like a 6 times extension. I'm good. Love your content, brother. I appreciate the support, Mr. Carlo. Let's dive into the daily then of this wave 4. So let's see what we got. Oh, wait, let me move this into frame. So these are the daily candles here. Let's see here. So this is a wave A. Had the wave B, and then we're in the wave C. Now, of this wave C, what does this look like? So we're just waiting for this wave C bottom. However, let's see. I mean, technically, this could be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So that's a wave 1. Then we have an A, B, C, wave 2. That's fucking close. Okay, and then we have this wave 3. Let me label that out. Hold on. Bear with me here, because I'm trying to do... There's a lot of things going through my mind, just trying to do... Usually it takes me a couple days to do a couple of these charts, because I got to really analyze it, so I'm doing it on the fly. But we've had... Where's my magnet? We've had a wave 1. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we should get a wave 5. Because looking at that, that's what it's, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, A, B, C, 2, and then we have a 1, 2, a wave 3, then we have an A, a B, and a C, and then we should have one leg lower. Does that overlap though? No, it doesn't. Okay, so as long as price does not retrace over this red line, this count is valid. If it does, then it's not. But right now, it looks like we're entering the wave 5. It actually might be ahead of Bitcoin in the sense that this chart is front running Bitcoin, meaning this is a wave A, a wave B, a wave C, and then what we should see is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg down for this wave 5. And then once this bottoms, that for me is the bottom of the that's the bottom for Zcash. Based on what I'm seeing right here, that to me looks, because we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down for the 1, a 3-wave move for the 2, a 5-wave move down for the 3. It looks like a 3-wave move for the 4, and then we should have a 5-wave move down for the 5 to the bottom. People love the Zcash, gets them going. This thing gets people going for sure. It's what the people want. Get some fucking going. This is getting me going right now. I might have to dip in on some Zcash on this. One suggestion for your live: use dark mode because we can't see the target below the comment. Let me switch. Wait, what can't you see? One suggestion: for your live, use dark mode because we can't see the text below in the comments section. I didn't even think about that. Good call, Jared. Good fucking call. Let me switch. How do I switch to dark mode? Where's dark mode? Anyone in the chat know how to do dark mode? I'm a light mode user as well, but it doesn't do well on streams. Yeah, I'm a light user as well, but I can switch to dark mode on streams. I just got to figure out how to do that. Anyone in the chat down below know how to switch? Let me see. It should be under here, right? Settings. Where's dark mode? No. Trend. Canvas maybe. No. Background? Oh, that's terrible. I don't like that. How do I go to dark mode, damn it? Where's ChatGPT? Is it under here? Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? Dark mode on the west side of Atlanta. Sorry, that made me laugh. Is that better? Can y'all see that now? Yes? Okay, cool. Good call out from Jared. I want to get or was that Gerald? Dub Gerald in the chat. Dub Gerald in the chat. That's a great call out. That was a fantastic call out. Can y'all see that though? How do I wonder if I can change? Let me change these colors. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let me just change some of these colors so you can see it. Maybe blue. I'll go yellow. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, so Zcash. What are we working with here? Zcash for me has one leg lower. As long as price doesn't go over this low, which was 338 and 50 cents. As long as price does not go above this count is valid, which would mean one leg lower for Zcash. And the price target for Zcash, based on Elliott Wave rule theory, is basically between 185 to call it 100. That's a big range, but somewhere in this range is a bottom for Zcash. The only way we're going to be able to determine on a smaller time frame is once we start getting these impulsive waves down. So once price starts getting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll be able to determine where a potential bottom is. But somewhere between the $185 to $100 range is a bottom for Zcash for the larger wave 4, and then we'll get a wave 5 up. So say for example we bottom at 150. the next target for Zcash would be around $1,100. That would be the next target for Zcash. If we bottom at 150, the next target would be between like $800 and $1,100 for Zcash. Let me go through some of these comments here. Main settings. Okay, cool. Thanks, Gerald. Zcash touched 185 in early February. This reminds me of Stan Marsh dad trying to drop the sword of 1,000 truths. Facts. How do you drop it again? Oh, okay. Doge ADA. I think I did ADA the other day. How do we analyze if we see correction appear at the beginning? Like in terms of Zcash, you mean like how do we analyze like something like this where we have this like huge corrective structure, you mean? Because Zcash did have a huge corrective structure in the beginning before we started seeing impulses. So that's one of the, I guess, pros and potentially cons of Elliott wave theory is it's very good at it's very good at like for things like this, right? Identifying potential price targets, identifying where the market wants to go. The problem with like recently launched tokens and sort of smaller market cap tokens that you don't have a lot of price action off of, they're not good for long-term analysis using Elliott wave theory. Can you use it on small time frames? Sure. And the same thesis still applies. Basically, you want to look for moves like this. You want to look for a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. Once you identify a 5-wave move, the thing that is next, let me change the color of this to yellow so then you can see it. Once you identify a 5-wave move, it can be on any time frame. It can be on daily, it can be on 4-hour, it can be on hourly, it can be on 15-minute. Keep in mind though, the lower time frame you go down, it's harder to identify these things because they're faster moving. But nonetheless, the theory still is valid. You can use this on any time frame you want. But you can go on lower time frames and see, okay, what's happening. Like for example, with Zcash, you see this first move off. The way, let me zoom in. With Zcash, for example, when the token launched, right here, this move right here was a 3-wave move. So it's not impulsive. It's a 3-wave move. We have an A, a B, and a C. So you're not expecting price to go higher because it didn't make a 5-wave move. On the way down, you have this A, B, C. Okay, another corrective move. Then on the way up, you have this move, which was like an A, B, C, A. Then you had a B. Then you had another C. Then you had another A, B, and then this larger C. So like you have these multiple corrective movements inside of Zcash when the token launches. And because of that, you're like, okay, price is not going to go higher because it's in corrective mode, which means the logical standpoint is to go lower. However, with Zcash, you had this big impulsive one, and if you dive into this impulsive one on the smaller time frame, aka the daily time frame, what you would see inside of this one is something like this. You would see a 5-wave move that would make up this impulsive wave 1. So there you can say, okay, we've had our first 5-wave move off of this low. What am I anticipating next? I'm anticipating a 3-wave move down, which we kind of had as an A, B, C. Boom. There's the bottom of my wave 2. What am I expecting next? I'm expecting an impulsive wave 3. Again, Zcash way overshot the targets of a wave 3, and I'll show you why in a second. So for Zcash, for example, I mean, this thing is a fib extension connoisseur because you had this 5-wave move, you had the wave 2 here. The next target for Zcash after this 1-2 would have been $144. Well, it way overshot that all the way to about 600, which you can not necessarily plan for. But what you can do is inside of this wave 3, it's also going to have 5-wave moves. So that allows you to be a little bit more aggressive with your price targeting because before this wave 3 happens, what you're anticipating in this wave 3 is something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So once you get the impulse of wave 1, then the 2, you can chart out off of this 1, off of this 2. What's my next target of the 3 of 3? That might change based on how the price moves with inside of the waves. I know that was like a lot of me talking. I don't know if that makes sense or answers your question, but that's essentially how you would do it on smaller time frames. You have to analyze it on the hourly, the 4 hour, because then you have more price action to go off of. Whereas like monthly candles, if you're looking to do more long-term analysis and you're like, hey, I want to hold this thing for a few years, you don't really have that much price action to go off of. Like we looked at Ondo earlier on stream, and Ondo has like a year's worth of price action, like a year and a half price action. You don't have enough to make a long-term decision. Do you have enough to make a short-term decision? Sure. But if you're like, hey, I want to buy now and I want to hold for 5 years, you don't have that type of price action to make that decision. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's easier. We have 2013, like over 12 years of price action, so we can make long-term decisions based on it. Gerald said, XRP, I'm conflicted between current wave as ABC or wave 1 up from 1 to 1. Well, I can dive into that here shortly. The Winklevoss twins are very high on Zcash too. Yeah, Zcash, I mean, I don't know the fundamentals of it. I haven't checked out the project on the fundamentals. This is the first time I'm looking at this chart. I have no idea what the fundamentals look like. But based on the chart, it's pretty bullish. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to add this to my watch list to start accumulating on the wave down, because if the wave 5 gets the wave 5, I mean that could be from $150 to potentially 700. So that's a decent trade, and I would love to be in on that. Mr. Carlos said, "Got it, Nick. Appreciate the explanation." Yeah, absolutely. Doshib and ADA, please. Yeah, let's jump into XRP real quick, and then let's go to ADA. And then we can jump into Doge. Is there any textbook stuff you could show us in the future as compared to your school? Yeah, 100%. If you're looking for a book, short read, I have it right here because I reference it all the time. If you're looking for a book, and again, it's a very short read. It is, well, I'll tell you in a second. Let's see. Optimization, is that the trading one? So lessons, hold on. Is it 56 pages of lessons? Oh, no, that's not right. I'm just reading through the book real quick. No, it is 70, so it's 76 pages of lessons. So training, showing you all the charts, examples, everything like that. Kind of what I'm doing on the live, but in book format. It's 76 pages. I mean, look at the text. It's not like small text. Like I read this book in like 2 days. And then page 77 through basically 100. So another 30 pages is how to trade with Elliott Wave Theory. So it gives you like trading ideas, how to do it. But the book is this: Elliott Waves Made Simple. It's by Steve Sinclair. You can buy it on Amazon for $10. It's $10. This is the book that I use a lot of my information from, and it provides a really good basis of how the market moves, what the market does. I mean, obviously you have to take the book and then obviously apply it, and you have to start looking at charts, looking at analysis, doing the hard work, and kind of trial and error, honestly, because Elliott Wave can be somewhat up to interpretation to some extent. Like some people view certain waves differently. I stick by the rules. I don't put my own bias on it. I don't put my emotions into it. I don't give a shit about anything besides sticking to the rules. I'm a tried and true, by the book type of person. I try to eliminate my bias as much as possible. I try to say, I want this thing to go up. I want this thing to go down. I don't want this thing to go up. I need to be as structured and as disciplined as physically possible. So I also work on a lot of mindset, like a lot of trading and a lot of investing is just mindset and managing your emotions, because you can see a chart, like for example, with Zcash, you could see a chart, and for some people, they could see this. Like some people might apply, I've seen it before in some people's charts. Like some people might consider this without abiding by the rules. This would be a wave 1, wave 2, we're in the wave 3. And what they'll do is they'll be like, well, this was a wave 1, but you can't, like a wave 1 can't retrace lower than a wave 2 can't retrace lower than a wave 1. So like this, for example, if this was a wave 1 and a wave 2, we went lower than the start of wave 1. So that can't be possible. But for whatever reason, people like to say that it's possible. just because they want to fit their own bias on it. But no, you have to stick to the rules. If you don't stick to the rules, this strategy don't make no damn sense. So I'm as by the book as physically possible. And if something, that's why I do so much analysis on the chart, and I rerun it and I rerun it and I rerun it, not to overthink, but to make sure, hey, is this rule passed? Do we pass this rule? Do we pass this rule? Okay, everything's in the clear. Boom, I got my analysis. But yeah, this is the book that I would start with. Elliott Waves Made Simple by Steve Sinclair on Amazon. Again, it's $10. It's is like Bitcoin. Is like Bitcoin only it can be shielded private transactions? I don't know if I'm understanding your question correctly, Healthcare Misfit. I don't know if I'm understanding that question correctly. Thanks for the Zcash analysis. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I think Zcash has got some good potential. As long as price doesn't invalidate, meaning, let me go back to the daily here. So as long as price doesn't go, make sure this is all in. As long as price doesn't go above $338.51, as long as price does not go above that, this count is valid and we should expect lower. I think honestly Zcash is front running the Bitcoin correction, and this is possible with charts because Bitcoin's the market leader, right? You have the biggest market leader in the space. Bitcoin obviously is the biggest market leader. Then you have Ethereum, which is the second one, and then XRP or whatever the tokens in order. I don't remember what the orders are, but you have these big leaders. Think of it like the S&P index, right? Like certain stocks correlate to the S&P index. If the S&P goes up, those stocks go up. If the S&P goes down, those stocks go down. But then you have other stocks that aren't correlated to the S&P, meaning you could have the S&P go up 1%, this stock could go down 3 or 5. And then you have the S&P go down, and then this stock could go to 5 to 6% up on the day. So you have certain stocks that are correlated to the major indexes, and you have other ones that are not. For me, based on what this chart is showing me, it does almost suggest that Zcash is not correlated to Bitcoin in the sense that we've already had an A, B, C structure, and we're entering this wave down ahead of schedule for Bitcoin, which could be another indicator of my thesis being correct in the sense that we are still due for one more correction with Bitcoin. That could be plausible, but as long as 338.51 doesn't get invalidated and price doesn't push through it, as long as price doesn't push through it, this current count is correct and we should expect lower. That would be my Zcash analysis. Thank you. I'm a studied and trial and error by the book. Yeah, same with me. I'm by the book 100%. And that I feel like that's the way you have to be with trading and investing. You have to be super disciplined. Oh, okay. So it's kind of similar to like Monero. I know Monero is kind of like you can't trace it as well. What is the difference between the book? Oh wait, what is the difference between the book Elliott Wave Principle? I don't know what that one is. This one was just shorter, and I saw this from another creator that does Elliott Wave theory, and I bought this one first. I think the other Elliott Wave Principle is by what is his name? Ralph Proctor, I think is his name. So I believe that he's the founder of Elliott Wave theory. And then this guy, Steve Sinclair, basically took the Elliott Wave Principle book by Ralph Nelson. This guy, Steve Sinclair, took the Elliott Wave Principle book, which is a lot longer read, more complex, and simplified it and made it more user-friendly. So that's why I went with this one. Let's see. Let's jump into Cardano first, then we're going to go to XRP, and then we'll jump into Bitcoin to finish out the stream. I think that's a good stance because I need to also eat because I am hungry. But let's do Cardano, then let's do XRP, then let's do Bitcoin because I know that those were the charts that were recommended there. It's like Monero, only it doesn't suck like stupid miners. Facts. I mean, Zcash is looking pretty good, and the chart's suggesting a lot more bullish action. Where's the one that I like? Spot Crypto. I think I still have the analysis on here for Cardano. Let me see. Yeah, so let me see here. Let me change these colors to yellow so you guys can see them. Let me get everything into frame here. So for me, what Cardano's an interesting one. And I'll tell you why. So we've had a 5-wave impulsive move up. Let me move this so I can explain it. So for Cardano, we've had a 5-wave move up already. We've had this impulsive 5-wave move, and then we're in this larger corrective movement. Until Cardano shows me an impulsive wave up, we're in corrective, and I personally own Cardano, so I am also waiting for this. But the way that I'm looking at Cardano right now is this was the impulsive wave 1, this is the corrective 2, and then we should expect something like off of these lows, we should expect something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off of these lows. Until that happens, Cardano is just still in kind of choppy corrective mode. I think for Cardano, once Bitcoin corrects its final movement, this thing will bottom with a lot of other altcoins, and then we'll start seeing those impulsive waves up. But this to me almost looks like, it's almost like an A shallow C, an ABC movement. Then we have an ABC movement. Then we have this other ABC movement. So for Cardano, it's just been honestly a complex correction. Until we see impulsive movements, we don't really have a lot to go off of. But what we can do, because we have this first impulsive wave 1 through 5, we can do some hypothetical price targets using Elliott wave theory rules. Is you take the bottom of the impulsive wave 1 to the top, and then say Cardano corrects a little bit further to, what's it at right now? It's at 22 cents. Say Cardano corrects to 20 cents. The next target, because this is an impulsive wave 1 and an impulsive wave 2, the next target for Cardano is right around $5. And that would be the impulsive wave 3. And what we should see out of this move is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement off of these lows. Until we see that, we're just in a waiting pattern. But the next target using the price action that we have, and because price hasn't retraced lower than this low, this is a 2, meaning this was a 1, this was a 2, we should get the 3. And for the 3, the price target's right at around $5.20 for the next target for Cardano. Healthcare, thanks again. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go add an XRP Bitcoin. And lastly, eating. Yes, I dare I say I had some ice cream earlier because I like ice cream and I can eat dairy again. I was dairy free for 5 years, so I can finally eat ice cream again. And it was great. It was phenomenal, but I had a big one, so I'm kind of late on dinner on this Sunday. But for Cardano, it's right at $5. Beer, ice cream, facts. Any questions on Cardano? But until we see impulsive moves out, that's kind of what we have. Correction should be 335 or 533. Yeah, you can get. I'm not analyzing it more on a lower time frame. I'm more analyzing it on a larger time frame. But for me, this could be a complex correction. This could be, a corrective down. Then we could get this corrective up. Then we can get this corrective down. But for me right now, we're still kind of just in a waiting period. Oh, good. Thank you, my boy. Great work. I appreciate that, Christian. We can jump into XRP because I know, Gerald, you had questions about XRP, so we can definitely jump into that for sure. So let's see. XRP is, let me go to XRP. Well, you could have, this technically on Cardano, this could be a W, this could be an X, and then this could be a Y, which for WXYs, you do get an ABC, then you get an ABC, and then you get an ABC. So it could be honestly a complex WXY for Cardano, honestly, if I'm looking at it like that, because you get a 3-wave move down for the ABC for W, then you get a 3-wave move up for the Y, then you get a 3-wave move down for the X, and then from there we should see impulsive. So until we see impulsive moves, it's just corrective, but logical next steps for Cardano based on those rules would be $5. XRP Army ready. Yeah, I mean, XRP looks really good. We were charting it the other day, so I'll just keep some of the stuff that we had on it earlier. I just want to change some of the colors so it's more visible. But for me, let me make sure everything's in the chart here. So for Cardano, or for XRP rather, for me, this was just corrective structure to start the token, and then we had an impulsive 1 in the 2017 cycle, then we had this ABC corrective movement for the 2, and then we had this impulsive 1 off of the low, followed by this 2, and then we should get a 3. But for me, impulsive wave 1, corrective 2, then let's dive into the smaller time frame. Let me make sure everything's visible on here. Is that all visible? I'm just going to zoom in on the current structure so I can get everything in here. So for me, this was the 2, and then we had this impulsive wave 1 off of the lows. We're in the 2. We should see a 3 somewhere around $6. Then we'll get a 4, and then we'll get a 5 to complete this major macro 3. Oh, this was just placement. I was just throwing that out there. XRP is not going to $80. At least not right now. I have to wait until price action comes out. I was just putting it out of the way when we were doing the charting. Basically what I was doing is the way that TikTok works with like the horizontal format. When I originally put it, like it showed up like this on the chart when I was drawing it. I'm like, all right, let me get this 4 and then let me get this 5 out of the way. And I kind of just threw it in places. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. Cajillionaire, yeah, facts. You could make a cajillionaire from XRP. But the way that I'm looking at XRP right now, based on the current structure, is we've had the 2, so we're in the macro wave 3, which we're in the bigger wave 3, and of this bigger wave 3 up here, we've had the 1, we're in the 2, we should see a $3 to $6, a 4, and then a 5. Now, the reason I have $6 as the next price target is due to the trend-based fib extensions and Elliott wave rules. So you take the bottom of wave 1, if I can get it, take it to the top of wave 1, and then to the bottom of wave 2, which for me, we should bottom soon, so anywhere around like $1. And then for me, the next target is around $6 for XRP. Healthcare says, see you. I'll see you in the next one, Healthcare. I appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by. But yes, I'm going to be rich. No, for XRP, the next target for me is $6 based on what the structure of the chart looks like right now. And then we'll get a corrective. It'll basically look like this. We'll get a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3 somewhere here. We'll get a corrective 4, and then we'll get a wave 5 to finish out this macro wave 3. And then we'll get a wave 4, somewhere in this region. Then we'll get a final wave 5. Oh, wait, you can't see that on there. So something like that. We'll get a 5 wave move for the 3, then we'll get a 4, then we'll get a 5. That's what I'm seeing for XRP. Let me make sure I go through all the rest of these. I got all that. I answered that. Oh, Lance, you said Bitcoin analysis. Yeah, let's jump into that now. Any questions on the XRP stuff before we jump over to Bitcoin? Because I know Lance had a question on Bitcoin. So let me finish out with that, and then I am going to get some food. I'll wait a few seconds just if you guys have any questions on XRP or if that wasn't clear. Gerald said, got a scoop, catch you next time. Yeah, absolutely, Jared. I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate the support. May I know, how did you get the wave 1? Meaning the wave 1 of, let's see. Meaning this wave 1, like the bigger wave 1, or the smaller sub wave 1 of the 3? The larger, okay. Yeah, so the larger wave 1 is, let me go to the weekly. Let me see here, hold on. Give me un momento. Let me get this all into frame. So this is the larger wave 1 right here. And of this wave 1 off of the 2017 cycle, we have this wave 1, wave 2 right here, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5 to complete this wave 1. So we have a 5-wave move off of these lows to complete a large wave 1. And then from there, XRP was in corrective mode, basically from the top in 2018 all the way till like 2020, all the way until here in 20, like basically like 2024. Then we had an impulse off that. But yeah, this first move right here, this first 5-wave move was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, so as long as you see a 5-wave move on the chart and none of the rules are invalidated, like meaning if we had the wave 1 here, the wave 2, the wave 3, and then the wave 4 was to come down lower than the wave 1, that count would be off. Long wave 2 correction. Yeah, huge correction. I mean, that was partially due to the SEC case, and you can kind of see it with the chart. Like, if you go to the chart, like everything in this move was just so choppy and corrective. You really didn't have any impulses. Like everything was overlapping. Like even this move up here, you had like an A wave, a B wave, then you had a C wave, then the price overlapped. So like this entire structure was just super corrective, and then we're finally getting the impulses out. What about the second time around in 2024 for XRP? Meaning like this move right here? Is that what you're referring to? Or when you say second time around in 2024? Yes, okay. Let's see here. Let me see here. So on here, for me, we have, hold on here. We have like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost like this wave right here is a wave 1, which is kind of hard to see on the daily, but you essentially have this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5. You have like, oh wait, it's not showing. Hold on. Is that in there now? Yeah, there we go. So you had this 5-leg move up here in this region for the top of wave 1, and then you had this corrective A. Then off of this, you had this corrective A, corrective B, and then we're in the C right now. So that for XRP is kind of what's been going on for basically the start of 2024. Like, did we get the 5-wave? Yeah, so in this mini wave 5, we did get a 5-wave move. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. Happy to help on that one. Yeah, so far we've gotten a 5-wave move in the mini wave 3 or the mini wave 1. So the way that it works too is like the reason that this macro wave 1 is showing, like I was showing it on the weekly chart back here, you could see the 5-wave move. In order to see the 5-wave move of this smaller move, you got to go down to like daily time frame to see it, because you can't see it clearly on the monthly. But essentially we have the wave 1, we're in the 2, we should get a 3 to about $6, then we'll get a 4 and a 5. And then to finalize it out, Lance, are you still here? Are you still tracking? Because I want to make sure I go to Bitcoin and answer your question. So if you're here, let me know and what questions you have, and then let's go into Bitcoin. And then we'll finalize it out. I hope Lance is still here and he didn't drop off, because I'm happy to go into the Bitcoin chart, but I want to make sure that Lance is still here so then he gets it. I'm here. Lance, let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, let's go into Bitcoin. I am all hyped up on this Sunday. I am raring to go. All right, so let's all in on XRP. I mean, it's not a bad decision, honestly. I will say I'm pretty loaded up on XRP. I loaded up around 50 cents. So I'm just waiting for $6 and I'll make a decent, I think it's a 10x from 50 cents to $5. I'll make about a 10x on that. So I'm happy with that. I am definitely very happy with that trade for sure. Let's just want your opinion. Yeah, so let's dive into it. So basically on the smaller time frame, give me a second to get it all into the screen. I'm also streaming on TikTok, both vertical and horizontal, so kind of pick your choice. If you hit the tiny square in the right corner, I think it'll view it in a horizontal format. If you prefer vertical, that's totally fine. But just wanted to give you the option. I'm kind of doing the multi-stream so you can see both. So let me change some of these colors and make sure this gets all into screen here. Okay, so within inside of this final leg 5 move, we've had 3 movements so far. We've had the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3. We're in the 4, and then I'm still expecting a wave 5. And again, if y'all know by now, or at least those that have been here since the beginning of the stream, impulsive waves can happen both to the downside and upside. It's not like impulsive moves aren't synonymous with only up, and corrective moves aren't only synonymous with down. Like, you can have them flip-flop depending on where the price action is going. So the way that this movement has happened over the past couple months is we've had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. This right here, or let me just show you so then you can see it. So we've had, hold on. Is that all in? Nope, it's not all in. So we've had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and we're in this final leg 5. Now, of this final leg 5, this leg right here, this final drop, we're also going to have 5 subwaves. And if I went into smaller time frames on this, you would see a 5-wave move down for the 1. You see a 3-wave correction for here. You'd see a 5-wave move down for here. Complex correction 4. And then we're going to analyze this final leg 5 in order to determine when we could potentially bottom. So going to the daily time frame. Let me make sure everything's in here. All right, everything's in here. So going into the daily time frame, we've had a wave 1, then we've had an A, B, C 2, then we've had a wave 3, then we've had an A, B. We're waiting for the C to complete the wave 4, and then we should see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down for the final leg 5. That's what I've been waiting for now for the past since January. That's what I've been waiting for, about almost 2 months now for this move to take place. But we've had a 1, a 2, a 3. We're in the 4, and then we should see a 5. For me, the bottom of the 5 is going to come anywhere between 60 to 50K, and those are my targets. But we're waiting just for this wave 4 to complete. What about on the weekly macro? So the whole monthly, if we want to dive into the monthly, but I want to make sure, Lance, does that making sense, Lance, on a smaller time frame? And the reason that I have this labeled as an ABC is because we didn't get an impulsive move off of these lows. This movement right here, if you analyze it on a smaller time frame, on the 4-hour, it basically looks like this. It's a 3-wave move. And because we got a 3-wave move up, for me that was an A, then we had a B, then we should have an A, B, and then a C up here. I mean, rough targets for a wave 4, I was thinking anywhere between 70 to 75K for this wave 4, and then we should get a 5-leg move down for the wave 5. So somewhere in that range. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm thinking anywhere between 70 to 75K for this target, and then we should see a final dump for the wave 5. And if we get that 75K target, we can take the fib extension and go to about, say 74. Anywhere between 60 to 50K is my target for the wave 5 bottom. And then once that bottoms, for me, that's the bottom. And then we start the impulsive waves to the upside. Carlo, I have a question on the monthly time frame. How do we identify that it is actually a ending wave 5 or it's a wave B expanding flat? Yeah, so on the monthly, this is what the monthly looks like. Let me get it all in here real quick. So the way that the monthly works right now is we've had a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. That on the lower time frames, you can see the impulsive wave moves. In this wave A right here, if we go down to the weekly time frame, let me get that in here. So on this wave A, we've also had, wait, am I on the right thing? Hold on. Nope, I went too far. Sorry about that. I was looking at something else. On this wave A, we've had an A, B, C, boom. That's our initial wave A. Then for here, this was like a complex B, but we've had a B wave up, and all this was kind of choppy. There wasn't any impulsive moves. I looked at the daily. It wasn't anything like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move here. And in order for that to be a B, it can't extend over 1.618 of wave A, which would mean the expanding flat theory is invalidated, and that would be at 129,000, which we didn't extend over, which means that expanding flat is still valid, meaning this A, B, and then in an expanding flat, what you get is a 3-wave move here, a 3-wave move for the wave B, and then out of the wave B, you get a 5-wave move down. So we have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and then we're waiting for this 5th. Once we get the 5th, this entire expanding flat move that I've been tracking for a couple months now, like 2, 3, 4 months, once we get that expanding flat done, this isn't a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up for a wave 1. This is a wave 2, and then we have a wave 3 yet to go, and my targets for that are 150 to 200. So I think that answers your question, Carlo. It does make sense. Okay, perfect. But yes, Nick, I agree with you. Our bottom is between 50 to 60K. Yeah, based on my based on the wave 4, obviously the wave 4 gives you some hypothetical targets for the 5. Only price action will be able to determine what those targets. It could extend, it could shorten. It really just depends on what the price looks like out of this top of the wave 4. Like, for example, if we get let me get this into screen here. Like, once we get this top up here for the wave 4 and we see an impulse down with a correction and then another impulse, this is going to be able to, this will allow us to narrow down better what this wave 5 could potentially be, because we'll have some price action to be able to determine that. It does wave 4 price target, because I think there's one at 81K. I'm finally back from the game on a date. She can hear you. What's up, Ivan State? Hope you're doing well. On point. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, like, price targets are good and all, but it's not the end all be all, right? Like, you have to allow price to kind of show you what's going to happen. Originally, when we were going through what is it? When we were back here, I want to say, let me get this in the here. This wave 4 right here, this wave 4 right here, when I was looking at the fib extensions of this wave 4, this is why I was saying for so long, let me get this into context here. Like, if you followed my channel for a few months, when I saw this wave 4 happen, this wave 4 right here on the larger time frame, I was expecting anywhere between 80 to 70K. The reason behind that is because using this fib extension as a guide, I was expecting this final leg 5 down to happen anywhere between 80 to 70K. The reason that it changed is because we had this. We had this really explosive wave 3 down. And I wasn't anticipating that, because we had a wave 1, a wave 2, and I was, even off of this wave 1 and 2, I was using this trend-based fib extension to determine where that bottom would be for the wave 2 or for the wave 3, and that was telling me at 73K. So I'm like, okay, the wave 4 is telling me 80 to 70K. This first impulsive wave out of this correction with wave 2 is telling me 73K for the wave 3, then we'll get a correction, then we'll get a bottom somewhere between, 73 to 70K. And I was gung-ho on that for a while, but price action just developed further, and we had this 1, 2 with an extending 3, and we're in the 4. So price can change, but again, I was still expecting this movement down for this final leg 5, whereas for me right now, I'm still expecting the wave 4 with the wave 5. So that's kind of what has allowed me to stay consistent in the fact that I am still anticipating a leg down, but the price targets can change when more price action comes out, if that makes sense. But it never changed my thesis of we're still getting this leg down. Expected current wave 4 little quick, then current wave 4 little quick, then the wave 2. Well, if you look at the wave 2 of the smaller trend, give me a second. So this wave 2, hold on. I just want to get everything into the chart here. Give me 2 seconds. So this current wave 2 was 8 days. So this current wave 2 was 8 days. This current wave 4 is, hold on, 10 days. So it's even a little bit longer than this current wave 2. And I do think we're going to correct I think we're going to bounce somewhere up here. And then we'll get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down to mark the bottom. That's my next steps for Bitcoin. But corrections can take their own shape and form. They don't have to follow, well, wave 2 was 2 days, so wave 4 needs to be, or wave 2 was 15 days, so wave 4 has to be shorter, so it has to be 10 days. Like, it doesn't really work like that. Corrections can kind of morph and mold into different styles of corrections, if that makes sense. But any more questions on the Bitcoin chart before I hop off here and end the stream? I'll be back on tomorrow, same time. So 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be back on live tomorrow so we can cover some more charts. But I think we knocked out a decent amount of charts today. We had Bitcoin, we had Cardano, we had Zcash. I didn't get to Doge today, but I can do that. We got to XRP, we got to Cardano. I mean, we got a lot of charts knocked out. And I still have my list on my phone, so I'll be knocking those out on the stream tomorrow. We'll focus on Doge. We got Zcash, Doge. I think someone wanted HBAR, AVAX. Like, there's a bunch of tokens that I still need to analyze. But any other questions on Bitcoin itself before I go on skedaddle for the night and maybe go to bed a little bit earlier tonight so I can get a good rest and be good to go for tomorrow. But any other questions, happy to answer them. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be live. C. Denardo said, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. Get your meal. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate it. And again, I'll still be making the videos too. Like, I'm going to take the stream, clip it up, and then post the videos from today's stream tomorrow, so that like everything that we went through today is also captured on short form content. So if you missed anything or came in late or came in early, whatever, that'll be available tomorrow. I'll make sure to clip that all up. But I'll be live tomorrow. We'll cover some more charts. And yeah, let's make some money. Let's make some money. But again, wait for this wave 4 top, then we should see one more wave lower. And with that being said, I will see y'all tomorrow. I appreciate all the questions, all the chart requests, and yeah, that's all I got, honestly. That's all I got. This was a good live stream. I do think this was a good live stream, so I appreciate it. But I'll see y'all tomorrow.